Breaking news. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crime Wall with Cass and Mo. This is Mo, and this one is a little different from some of our other stories, but the Crime Wall does not discriminate against what needs to come on this channel as it relates to crime. So when it comes to the community and the philanthropic arena, there's always a soft spot for people who care about the well-beings of others. But when people like Candace Clark hires actors and actresses to build this fake image, I think she was on the same level as the Netflix series also based on this true story called Inventing Anna, or even worse, The Tinder Swindler. I mean, from fake real estate agent causing one woman to lose $73,000 to being a fake state employee impersonating a police officer. I mean, Candace Clark is accused of running one of the most elaborate scams to steal money via fake swearing in ceremonies. She literally had fake swearing in ceremonies where actors were allegedly hired to make the whole thing look real. CRIMEWALL family, just how can someone not only get away with this, but be so dang on convincing? If you are interested in watching this story of the queen of scamming, then please keep on watching. Vulnerable communities, vulnerable hearts, and people just looking to support an African-American woman was how this fraudster learned to create the person and persona she wanted to explore and let people think she was. She graduated from Percy Julian High School and at this time was known as Candace Dixon. She was an average high schooler and she actually participated in a number of organizations. To name a few, she participated in Big Brothers Big Sisters, After School Modeling Club, and get this, she was also on the math team. Guess she had to really get her numbers up for what she had destined for her future. She had an early start, though, CRIMEWALL family, by being the queen of fake. And I do mean literally the queen of fake, as she went so far in high school to claim she was actually Miss Teen Illinois. This girl had the fake sash, the fake crown, and the fake picture to prove it. Let's keep on moving. I have no sympathy for a person like this who actually claimed to even work as a counselor for a nonprofit organization 20 years ago, claiming to help single mothers get into affordable housing. There was one person who was willing to go on camera, and I have to give props to the reporter that actually had been following this story so much. Her name is Dorothy Tucker. She works with CBS. We're going to put her picture on here. A lot of this information is credited from her time and energy in revealing this fake scammer. The victim's name was Stranita Weir, and she went on camera with CBS Special Reports, and her words exactly was, "She is evil. She's a monster." Now, this victim would end up giving Candace back then $3,000 to assist with her getting into a home. And that was a lot of money 20 years ago. And I'm going to be honest, CRIMEWALL family, it's still a lot of money now, right? She was even at that time being awarded accolades for the so-called work she was doing in the community. One can only believe if that was fake too, or did she just try to start on a new leaf and realize just how hard philanthropic work is, and then she moved on to impersonating a police officer. Yes, we're gonna get into that in a few, but this woman was seriously confused about her identity, but all on purpose, guys. She knew what she was doing because her one goal was to deceive others for their hard-earned coins. Now, there's an actual copy of a police report back in September of 2007 where a victim gave suspected Candace Dixon Clark $6,000 for items she was attempting to purchase from Candace. Now, Candace, who at the time was residing at 3589 Marcellus in Hazel Crest 2, identified herself as a law enforcement officer. Get this, she was so convincing that she told people she was selling confiscated and seized items from a drug bust. I'm sure we all know how this story ends. There were no items, she was not an officer, And once again, she swindled someone out of their money, and to be exact, $6,000. She would later, according to reports, start defrauding couples or homeowners. And this one I had to make sure I put out there because she defrauded a couple who had listed their $2.5 million home up for rent. And the rent was approximately about $9,000 a month. This was a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom home. And she was able to move in, guys, and never paid a dime. She was creating fake checks for this payment. And this was just her getting by. She was actually taping over cashier's checks, etc., copying them and using the same check number. Now, when she actually got caught and the sheriff's office did go in and actually make her have to leave the property, they found some of her areas of how she was actually putting all of these crime and this mess together. This was a beautiful mansion that they destroyed. There was a picture of a bed on a floor. I mean, if it's a real bed on the floor, I get it. But no, this was a bed that's supposed to have a bed frame, CRIMEWALL family. But this was a bed on the floor and you're living in a $2.5 million home. I mean, something just saying, make it make sense. We got to make it make sense. Now, she left evidence of her printer, which had copies of Bank of America counterfeit checks, all with the same number. She wasn't even smart enough to change the sequence of the numbers. Now, that wasn't the only victim, because other victims over time started to voice also how they were swindled with these same fake checks. Some were saying they were defrauded with losses of over $50,000. This woman was evicted from over 8 rental properties, causing landlords approximately a loss of over $213,000. Now, there was some other reports that actually updated that number to say that she had ultimately been evicted from almost 23 places. I mean, what kind of background checks were these people? Make it make sense. I'm trying to understand. So how can someone, CRIMEWALL family, fake a state job claiming to make over $288,000 a year, fake their credit score of 734, and then fake all these checks and no one actually check and balance out this information? We know there's LexisNexis. shoot, half of us can't even walk in stores without us being looked up and down. So I'm just trying to figure out how this lady she was just smooth. She was a smooth criminal. She created a resume that boasted she had an undergrad degree in criminology. Out of all degrees, Queen, she put on an undergrad in criminology when she was really studying herself. She was studying herself this whole time. From UIC, an MBA from DePaul University, and she even put prestigious positions and other community service positions. Another speaker mentions Director Clark, and I'm putting that in quote, claimed to have so many impressive credentials and spoke at an event organized, guys, at the University of Illinois in Chicago, because her resume laid out all her accomplishments that were once again all fake. Fake, except for she did get a degree in criminology, but it was from the Candace Clark University, not from a legitimate university, CRIMEWALL family. Now, she was caught at least 6 times for some of her crimes, as according to records. She was arrested between 2008 to 2010 for theft, check fraud, and impersonating a police officer. Now, how does a person who commits these types of crimes end up with probation? I'm trying to figure out who she knows. She must be connected with somebody, because once again, make it make sense. She, of course, didn't stop doing any of these fraudulent acts while she was out on probation, because according to records, she was just able to become better at her trickster ways and kept on going, with one of her victims who was named Stephanie Bennett, who lost her home due to her renting her home to Candace, with the rent price of $2,000 a month never being paid. CRIMEWALL family, you guessed it. She was a super squatter because she would go on to live in plenty of victims' houses. And this victim, she lived in her house for approximately 8 months, rent-free, causing the landlord a $16,000 deficit, which ended her home going into foreclosure. She could not keep up with the mortgage, and the repairs that were necessary once this queen squatter actually had to be removed. Now, she was arrested finally in January 17th of 2020 while she was, get this y'all, she was at Starbucks. Now, everybody who business minded, we like to go to Starbucks because, we like to make it look real. We like to look out, have our business meetings, get our Starbucks cup. I guess it just gives some type of look and allure to business professionals. But this one was housing a squatster, a criminal, a queen of scamming. Now, she was caught at that Starbucks with so many fake IDs, and so many of her victims actually saw that she was arrested. And let me tell you, they are coming to the surface saying they want justice. They want her to be behind bars. But CRIMEWALL family, it's still confusing to me. Y'all comment, how was she able to defraud so many people with her fake credit score, her fake salary, her fake smile, her fake videotape ceremony, her fake conferences, her fake counselor degrees, and she also defrauded the actors and the actresses that she hired because she never paid them. And those were the people who were actually trying to make her make-believe life be real. I'm telling you, someone even quoted, they were so proud to see the first African-American woman to be sworn in as the director of special investigations. All fake, and even more fake. The judges were not even real, but let me tell y'all, she made it look so convincing. Now, Candace has spent about 2 weeks at the time at the Cook County Jail, but she, guess what? Yep, she got bail, a $15,000 bail, and surprisingly, her sister bonded her out on January 31st, which means this fraudster is back out on the streets. Her first court appearance was on February the 13th, and she was seen with her head down with a hooded coat trying to ignore various reporters, and specifically Dorothy Tucker, who I said earlier gives her so much props for covering this story, because she wanted answers. She had been following this fraudster for so long. She just wanted to find out, did this woman have any type of remorse? And instead, homegirl looked at the reporter with an attitude and said, you have evidence that says you're wrong. I'm like, wow, the nerve. Just put your head down and tuck your tail and just keep on moving, because you caught, queen. You are caught. Scamming people hurts even deeper than one can think. It causes a severe lack of trust for people. It breaks possibilities of creating generational wealth and just so much more. And justice can never be served to the person who committed these crimes, no matter their arrest or sentence if found guilty of these crimes. This, like all of our stories, are very hard to research and upload no matter what. It takes time to bring you this awareness, so if you haven't already, please subscribe and do your part by sharing these stories as well. CRIMEWALL family, we cannot rely on just the algorithm. We need your help to bring awareness too. And if you are visiting and have not subscribed, we want you to come on and hit the subscribe button so that you can also be a part of the CRIMEWALL family. The CRIMEWALL was created to bring awareness to victims and stories that do not receive the same media exposures as others. Suspects are considered innocent until proven guilty, and all information reported is alleged. Videos are created for educational purposes, and we mean no disrespect to the families, survivors, or victims detailed in the stories. Information obtained for these videos are compiled from various sources. Until next time, CRIMEWALL family, please